It's so cool to see that Lankans are doing amazing things in terms of like developing games. When I saw this post on Dihara's wall a few days ago, I was like, wait, you guys are doing games? What? So this is some interesting stuff. Would you like to talk about how this game came to be, like whose idea was it and how you guys decided to put it together?
This game was put together because of a game jam that exists called Ludum Dare. Me, Dihara and Sitila have been friends for the past couple of years. We've always wanted to make a game together and we've been talking about taking part in a game jam. So this became that thing that all of a sudden Dihara reminded us the Ludum Dare is coming up, and it seemed like all of us had some free time on it, and we just jumped on it.
Like, we've been trying to make a game since like 2017, and I think every time we tried, like, we failed miserably because we never had the time and commitment. With this game jam, we had the time to do it within like 3 days. So yeah.
What? 3 days?
Yeah, it was a 72-hour jam.
So who's responsible for doing what in the game development?
We took different roles based on what we'd like to do. I think we started with deciding which game engine we'd like to go with to develop the game, and we started with Unity. And Dihara is very comfortable with the programming side of things because he's a graphics engineer professionally, and I'm more into art and the technical side of art professionally. So I thought I'll probably help Achila with bringing his ideas, his game design ideas, in such a way where we could translate it into art and make it a proper game. So Achila was mainly responsible for writing, game design, level design, and a fair bit of art as well, actually.
So basically everything you see in that game was handmade while doing the jam, and that's usually not recommended at all. They keep saying, go and find free assets that are not licensed and stuff, so that you can use those, and they don't recommend doing this. But like when we decided on an art style, I'm struggling to find any art assets that kind of comes together in one cohesive way. So I just decided, screw it, I'm gonna start making them. We made I think totally.
Do not recommend doing this.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Please don't do it.
Some 70 game assets within the 3 days, with help from Sitila, of course.
We did art, we did voice. The whole
no,
thing.
Voice acting.
Yeah, voice acting. 3D modeling, programming, everything was from scratch in 72 hours. So it's pretty hectic.
And that's the whole point of a game jam, is to try and challenge yourselves and see whether you can meet the goal that they've set. There's no prize in the Ludum Dare. The only prize you get is the self-satisfaction that you managed to put something out in 72 hours on a random theme that they gave out. Pretty proud of these guys. Definitely did that.
So what's this game about?
The theme of the Ludum Dare was called Deeper and Deeper. And when we put our heads together, we wanted to make something not too obvious, like, going deep into the ground or something like that, or underwater. And we decided, let's try and do something a bit narrative and focused on maybe something psychological or something. And then we ended up making this game which is all about your character is like a cleaner or for a gang, and you're going in to kind of clean up a crime scene, but then you find that they're trying to kind of mix you up in the crime itself. They've placed evidence that ties you with the crime. So when that happens, the narrative goes in the direction of your character trying to find out more about what's happening, and then finding a way to kind of turn it all against the people that are trying to frame him, right? And so that it's just a simple story that spans through 3 levels, and we try to keep it a bit humorous. We sprinkled a little bit of Easter eggs
here and there,
here and there.
Yeah, it didn't really come across, but some of it did.
Some of it.
Because I was going through some of the comments, and a few people found this game actually slightly harder to play than expected.
Yes.
Yeah. That's to do with the game's overall design didn't incorporate a few things. We didn't think about how a player playing this would perceive all the information we're giving them. So they weren't aware as soon as they started that they're meant to find these pieces of evidence, or but that comes with the territory of a game jam, because it's such a short amount of time that you're meant to squeeze in all these things. And the place that we're definitely lacking in is just giving the player context. I think like what they're meant to do, how they're meant to go about doing it. So a lot of the comments are like based on that.
Yeah. First thing that came to mind as like one of those non-gamers was what was that game from 2011? I think it was called Limbo. Were you guys slightly inspired by that?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we did have like an art style in mind. So we were going for like the 1930s film noir style. So we kind of went for the black and white look. Limbo is, well, it does have that look, but it's not like film noir. So we were kind of inspired by games like this game from 2011 called LA Noir. I think it's 2011 or was it 2010? I can't remember. But yeah, it's like this game where you play as this policeman or something like that. So it's like where you have like solve crimes and stuff. So it's kind of like that kind of vibe. But it's mostly, I mean, I don't know if we have a direct influence. Do we have something that we pulled from directly? I can't remember. We just thought of like 1930s film noir, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like... that's exactly what we just put down, and then we're like, that's what we're trying to achieve. So.
Yeah, and black and white makes sense, and we don't have to put too much assets in. I mean, like we actually don't have to put too much effort into the colors, because it's like black and white, right? So we can just get away with like bright colors and dark colors, you know. So
and I still spent hours on the colors.
Yeah, we actually came to that idea like 3 or 4 hours after like you were actually making the first few like the first few stuff. Yeah, we actually wasted a few hours trying to texture the assets. But,
sitting around asking Sithila what goes well with blues, and then it didn't at all.
We're gonna do it in black and white. But, there's no like direct influence, but it like kind of came together. Like black and white made sense because we were going for that look.
We did choose to go with a stylized approach to art, not make things look like complete straight lines and obvious, a bit toonish, cartoony like, because it was easier to sell that than a realistic game in that time frame. So that was another thing that we chose to do.
Fingerprints from this scene. What's this? Why is my name on the telegram? Leaving a wallet in the crime scene? Now that's just careless. Knife, huh? Well, that's just messy. Right, that's all the evidence. I'd better make my exit through the window quick.
Things Joey found at the crime scene has...
So this is, I'm guessing, your first independent game collaboration?
Yeah, together, like between the three of us. Yes, but Achila here has plenty of game development experience, and even Sithila, I think I'm the noob when it comes to game development, actually.
Dude, you're building entire platforms where we make games on.
Yeah, but I haven't made games. That's the difference.
Something I couldn't ask you guys individually is, what's your background in game development?
Yeah, so my background is mostly in graphics engineering. So I work for a company that makes GPUs. So I basically work with game development studios and help them optimize their games to run like best on our cards, like our chips. So basically, it's more to do with optimization and like coding and profiling, that kind of thing. So we're mostly interested in the performance side of games, not the gameplay or that kind of art or anything like that. So it's a technical job. I don't really have like a lot of experience working on like actual games. I just work on the code side, the graphics side of games mostly. So that's my background.
I don't actually work for any particular company. I run my own indie dev studio called Ironblood Games. Me and one other team member called Ravin Fernando. And we've been developing a few games. The most recent one, we're kind of working for a client right now. But personally, we're developing a game called Warfleet. And that's like a mobile action space combat kind of thing. And yeah, that's what I do basically. Just make game titles, grab projects as they come along, and make games.
Very cool.
I work as a technical artist and a software engineer for a company in Richmond, which is in Tasmania, called Handbuilt Creative. I use Unreal Engine. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's the same technology used for Fortnite and other popular video games. We don't primarily build games. We do have a few games, unannounced games that we're working on, but we as a company are primarily responsible for building training software for tourism, for the government and entertainment. And so it's not exactly games, but we use games technology.
And with your powers combined, you created this little awesome indie game. And so is this still in development stages, or is this going to be out on like a bigger platform soon?
Well, we've been discussing on the possibility of like commercially launching this game, but we're still doing feasibility studies. As Citily puts it. But yeah, I mean, like, this was something that we made for a game jam. We need to give it that kind of respect that if we do make this into a full-fledged game, we need to go back in there and start like the code base ground up, make sure everything's
scratch.
really clean and works.
So much.
And that's a lot of work to do. So it really depends on, do we see some great promise in this title, and will that amount of time that we're going to have, additional time that we have to put to make this a commercial product, is it worth that commitment? Still haven't decided on it properly, I think, but we're definitely considering it.
That's very cool. And so, one down, what's next for you guys?
More game jams.
More game jams, yes. There's another one in October, I think. So we'll most likely do that. But it's fun. Yeah, it's very stressful and it's very exhausting, but it's fun. At the end, I think it's worth it. You have a full game. At the end, you have people playing it. Yeah, it's very satisfying.
Okay, so I'm like a noob to this whole thing. What is a game jam for people who don't know?
It's an event. Generally, it's held for 48 hours, doesn't it? It's just the Ludum Dare that goes on for 72. So yeah, it depends on the particular event, and they get lots of people to join in. There are location-based game jams, and then there are ones like Ludum Dare, which is international, where everyone gets to join in. They announce the theme probably on the day for the most part.
Yeah, when the jam starts.
Exactly, yeah. And then people need to get together, assign roles, and build a game that loosely matches, I guess, the theme, and produce something within the rules. So that's essentially it. You're tasked to build this fun interactive experience with royalty-free assets, or you could create your own and just make it available within that given time frame.
And so you guys have like ideas for the next one already, or still
really.
You guys are recovering from completing?
Yeah, we're still recovering. Yeah. I mean, the theme hasn't been announced yet. So like the theme generally gets announced when the jam starts. In like my case, it was 2 a.m. Saturday. We also actually stayed up, and well, I guess for like these guys, it was like morning, so it was fine for them. But yeah, for me, it was like 2 a.m. So we all stayed up. I mean, so we all were like up, and we actually discussed the theme when it got announced at 2 a.m. So yeah, like usually the theme gets announced when the jam starts. So yeah, we don't have any plans for the next one yet. So when the next jam gets announced, yeah, we'll start looking at the themes, gather some ideas, and yeah, we're definitely doing it. I mean, I'd say the next one.
Yeah, because we got a taste of it. It's really fulfilling doing this. I really enjoyed it, and I think the boys did as well. It's a hell of a challenge, but at the same time, it really shows like what we can do. And feels good to make it to the end. And our first game jam went so well that yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped to get involved in another one and make a better, much better titles in the future.
More fun.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
If people want to just like come check out your game, is there a place that they go to?
You can go to itch.io, itch, or you can go to the Ludum Dare. Yeah, I think I can just send you the URL because.
And is there anything that you want to say in closing?
Only a shameless plug to follow Iron Blood Games on Facebook. Show some support as we develop Warfleet, because it's a hell of an undertaking. These boys were with me at the onset of the development of that game, and it's kind of a passion project trying to get it released. Basically, huge space fleet combat. It's the kind of game that we are generally excited to play on mobile. I don't know if it's going to be that great, but I'm making all the efforts to make sure it's super fun. So yeah, follow its development, show some support. Thank you.
Join the next game jam. And
Oh yeah,
yes.
definitely join game jams.
Yes.
If you're interested in game development, this is the one way you can like force yourself to put aside a few hours. It doesn't matter if your attempt is bad. You find out your current skill set, and it can only get better from there. And it just it's like a way to like rapidly level up your skills, because I felt like I learned a bunch from these boys just working with them. And if you even take part in it like on your own, you still get to get a real concentrated experience of what it's like to launch a game, right? What it takes. So it really enlightens you. Take part in them whenever you can. There's Unity Global Game Jams being hosted by various people in Sri Lanka. Take part in those.
There's so Ludum Dare happens twice a year. You can join that.
Yeah.
There's other game jams on itch. Yeah, there's plenty of jams you can join. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And you get to find out how flexible you are under pressure and how to prioritize tasks to get a particular product out of the door. So there's a lot of advantages to participating in a jam. And it's best if you can find some of your friends than going solo, especially, I think, because when it comes to real studios, when you're working with teams, you need to learn how to manage them and work with others. So that's a very large component of games development.